Lions. 23-yard pickup. And a timeout called by the Lions.
Mike Martz said as far as timeouts here in the final 2 minutes of a half or a game, he would rather have as much time as possible than plays. And so he called the timeout there to give him as much time, 50 seconds here, to work from the 22-yard line in.
So the Lions do not have a timeout remaining. We have 50 seconds to go in the first half and a first down on the Eagles 22. You know the Lions are not thinking of three at all here. Down by 21. Kitna in trouble. Furry was the closest receiver, and it brings up 2nd and 10.
You know, John Kitna said no matter what the defense does, the way that we study this offense, we always have an answer. And the answer that time was sort of the safety valve on the right side. Once he felt the pressure coming from his left, he just didn't get the ball there. There was a receiver there to catch it. Sometimes the quarterback has to make the the accurate throw.
Well, Mike Martz was telling us the other day it's the time on the clock, not the timeouts left. That determine how many plays you can get off. And this was nearly intercepted by Joselio Hansen.
That's a tough player. Joselio Hansen is a guy that was a free agent acquisition last year from the Eagles. He played over in NFL Europe. He was cut by the 49ers. And he just always is around the ball. He's 5'9". You look at him, he comes into the room, you're like, this guy can't possibly play pro football. But you watch him cover, and he's sticky, Dick. I mean, he sticks, he's glue. He's glue to receivers out there, and then maybe he's just got to work on those hands right there, because that could have been a pick six the other way.
3rd down and 10. Kitna gets some breathing room and goes into the end zone, and it is intercepted by Sean Considine. Shaken up against the Redskins with a bruised knee, comes back and gets the pick in the end zone to end that Lion threat.
Well, this is what pressure could do. Kitna trying to make a play. You're down 3 touchdowns. You got to throw it in the air. And you can see Sean Considine does a good job of getting both feet down in the end zone, in the Swedish colors of those end zone. I think the Eagles might like these uniforms.
And well,
I asked Andy Reid if he was superstitious at all. He said not at all.
Well,
but after they wear these uniforms, it might change a little bit.
Well, the players weren't happy with it. I mean, they didn't like the way they looked. But I have to tell you, Brian, if they get 42 points a half, they'll take it.
The fans, they've got 6 touchdowns out there. They don't like the Eagles taking a knee. They won 7.
Greedy,
yeah. One of the 7 deadly sins, Dick.
Greed is not good, and that'll do it. Boy, a rough first half for the Lions. They managed to get 3 touchdowns, and that's the end of the first half with the score. The Eagles 42 and the Lions 21. Fox NFL Sunday continues with the Visa halftime report right after these messages.
Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader action continues with a huge showdown in the NFC East. Eli and the Giants look to overcome an 0-2 start and knock off a bitter division foe. But Clinton Portis and the undefeated Redskins are out to prove they're the team to beat in the East. Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues later today.
NFL Sunday Ticket, brought to you by Volkswagen. When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
So what does this Jetta have that the Corolla doesn't?
Power windows, variable intermittent wipers, 4-wheel disc brakes, 4 horsepower, electromechanical power steering and traction control.
When you get into a Volkswagen,
does it have 6 airbags? Standard?
it gets into you.
Yeah. Now through October 1st, get a 2008 Jetta 2.5-liter S for just $197 per month.
Their day begins like yours. Quick breakfast, drive down to work. Another day on the job.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, ma'am.
But after all the pleasantries, we talk about the weekend. From that point on, it's all business.
The wild card race is on fire.
A game for the ages.
Who's going to do it?
Can you believe this team?
Well, time is running out and October's getting close.
The Phillies have won it. Tigers win.
And not everyone is invited.
Unbelievable.
You think these guys don't know that?
What a wild ride.
When the music stops, you better have a seat.
The magical season continues.
There's only one postseason. There's only one fall classic. There's only one October.
300, 2 behind the leader. Perfect distance, and just to the left of the green. This is a very tricky shot. Good speed, right at it. Oh.
Don't just watch it, live it. Experience the ultimate in high definition with LG Full HD.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Life takes Visa.
And we welcome you to the Visa Halftime. Kurt Menefee, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. And, you know, we have to do the Visa Halftime Report right now because Dick Stockton and Brian Baldinger need a break. So much scoring going on in Philadelphia.
Oh, my goodness gracious alive. Eagles broke out these funny-looking uniforms. They got the lines all distracted. Westbrook, 25-yard touchdown, makes it Eagles up 7-0. McNabb off to a bad start this year, mainly because they're 0-2. Hooks up with Kevin Curtis for a 68-yard touchdown. 21-7 Eagles. McNabb, play action, corner of the end zone to Kevin Curtis, 12-yard touchdown. 28-7 Eagles over the line. McNabb to there once again to Kevin Curtis, a 43-yarder. And it's 28-35. Calvin Johnson, outstanding rookie for the Lions, left because of an injured back, and we will keep you updated in the second half on his situation. But from the 9-yard line, it is now the Lions' own 9-yard line. It is kicking it to Roy Williams, 91-yard touchdown. It is 35-21. It is still the Eagles with the fun-looking uniform. So McNabb goes back to work, drops it off to Brian Westbrook out of the V. Little bitty screen, he does the rest. 43-yarder. It is all Eagles over the Lions in the first half. High-scoring game. You don't want to sit. Just don't leave, folks. 42-21 might be some scoring at halftime.
Yeah, you think? Minnesota with a touchdown lead over Kansas City. That one in the third quarter.
Winningest quarterback in the National Football League with 149 victories. That was Brett Favre. Watches a young man from San Diego, Philip Rivers, hook up with Vincent Jackson. 27-yard touchdown. Chargers on the road at Lambeau Field, up 7-0. Then Marlon McCree, huge hit on the Packer receiver Donald Driver. Helmets go flying. Personal foul call. Packers get a field goal, 7-3. Then Favre back to Donald Driver. 5-yard touchdown strike, 10-7 Green Bay. Favre will come back again. Lambeau lead. Favre back, looking right, pumped, drag route. Bubba Franks tied in, 17-14 Packers. Favre now with 419 touchdown passes. One more, he ties the great Dan Marino. San Francisco at Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger off to an outstanding season. Watch his opening kickoff, taken by Allen Rossum of the Steelers. 98 yards later. Kurt, do you work out? Do you go this far?
When I do.
There you go. I like that. 7-3 Steelers over the visiting 49ers. Both clubs come in 2-0. Then Jeremy Tuman, 9-yard touchdown reception, 14-6. A field goal later, it's 17-6 Steelers over the 49ers early in the third quarter.
St. Louis and Tampa Bay, it's Bucks up 10-0 right now in the third. And Baltimore having an easy afternoon against the Cardinals, 20-3. That one in the second half as well.
Playing better than anybody in the National Football League at quarterback is Tom Brady, getting everybody pumped up. J.P. Lawson, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, hit by Wilford, has to leave this football game. The rookie Edwards in, a rookie out of Stanford, now starting for Buffalo. Then Brady to Watson, touchdown of 8 yards. Brady to Moss, a touchdown of 3 yards. And it's New England taking care of the Bills, 17-7. That's early in the third quarter.
In the Meadowlands, the Jets lead Miami 24-13, while the Houston Texans putting up a good fight against the Indianapolis Colts. It's 17-10 right now, that one in the third quarter. All right, Jimmy, 9 combined touchdowns, both quarterbacks over 300 yards in the first half. What do you want to talk about?
Well, questions about the health of McNabb, Westbrook, Kitna. I think they're all answered. 646 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 1 half. Wow. Those uniforms, wow.
Yeah, well, you know, Westbrook, he came in the form of a Trojan horse. I mean, Thursday, he was a guy that didn't look like he was going to play. He looks unbelievable today. 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. Rod Marinelli talked about in our pregame being the janitor of that Detroit Lions football team, going for each corner of that facility and cleaning out the bad apples. I think we're going to find out a lot about the Detroit Lions, particularly on the defensive side of the ball in this second half. Somebody grabbed that Philadelphia offensive line this week and got in their face. They are doing a great job both in the run and in the passing game, protecting Donovan McNabb and opening up holes for Brian Westbrook.
I'm impressed with McNabb and his composure from all the stuff that's been going on this week. And folks, don't touch that dial because you might see 100 points scored in that game today between the Lions and the Eagles.
63 in the first half and another 30 minutes to go.
Wow.
It all comes your way right after this in the Visa Halftime Report. I've been doing math. That's it.
Enter Visa's Inside Pass sweepstakes this season. When you make a purchase with your Visa card between now and December 15th, you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a grand prize VIP trip for 2 to an NFL playoff game, Super Bowl 42, and the Pro Bowl. The more times you use your card, the more chance you have to win. Life takes Visa. Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL and the Visa Inside Pass NFL sweepstakes.
Fox Wednesday is all new. First, Back to You is TV's #1 new comedy.
Holy cow, we got to promo the crap out of this.
See why Kelsey Grammer and Patricia Heaton are 2 of the best.
You wanted the lead? You got what you wanted.
I was humiliated.
Oh, then I got what I wanted.
Then, after an all-new Till Death, Gordon Ramsay transforms America's worst restaurants.
Green burgers kill people.
Kitchen Nightmares. A night of all-new episodes starts Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Fox tomorrow.
No one's ever broken out of this place before.
The new season of Prison Break is just getting started.
Can I trust this Bobo?
He's a snake. He stabbed me in the back ever since he got.
And in the deadliest prison on Earth.
Back up!
The only way out
You think we want to be forced into this? You think we want to be here?
is to go even deeper inside.
My name is Michael Schofield. I was sent to get you out of here.
Prison Break. Viewer discretion advised. All new tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
My father played ball. He said after the season was over with, man, they didn't see each other until camp started. They say the season's 5 months, but man, the season's it's 12 months long, man. It has to be in order to stay in shape, compete with the best of the best. They make us go about 8 months. Not to mention those other 4 where you don't want to fall behind Pro Bowl guys. It's 12 months long. Oh yeah, 13 months. 14 in a leap year.
We're back here in Philadelphia where the Eagles lead the Lions 42-21, and there are some memorable moments that are snapshots of a memorable first half. The ecstasy of Calvin Johnson reaching high for a jump ball, and the agony of Payne on a Sunday after a bad fall and a great catch. And then Kevin Curtis suspended in air for one of his 3 touchdown catches. And then how about the eyes of a happy quarterback explaining what he saw to his new favorite receiver? We're coming back. Halftime in Philadelphia.
The Cubs battle the Reds or other games with playoff implications. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball.
NFL Sunday Ticket, brought to you by Bridgestone. It's Bridgestone or nothing.
Right now, get up to a $100 value American Express branded award card when you buy a set of eligible Bridgestone tires. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone.
or nothing. Their day begins like quick breakfast, drive down to work, another day on the job.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, ma'am. But after all the pleasantries, and talk about the weekend, from that point on, it's all business.
They use it to shoot the game. They use it to broadcast the game. They use it to produce the game.
The main man on the field today is Peyton Manning.
So why wouldn't you use it to watch the game?
That's Peyton Manning.
Nice Sony. Scoot over a bit, will you?
Nothing compares to a Sony Bravia HD TV because high definition is in our DNA.
Anybody got any chips?
Do you have what it takes to spend the rest of the year inside the octagon? Now's your chance to prove it. Introducing the UFC Ultimate Fight Pack from DirecTV. It's the best way to catch 3 UFC events live on pay-per-view. Act now, and you'll also get a 1-year membership to the UFC Fight Club, plus the Ultimate Knockouts Volume 4 DVD, and a skull cap from Tap Out, a special offer only from DirecTV. Be a part of the biggest fight package of the year, the UFC Ultimate Fight Pack from DirecTV.
39 jersey for St. Louis. Liner, one throw blanket, Scottsdale. Vinatieri, barbecued, Indianapolis.
Get this season's hottest NFL gear. Delivered by NFL Shop at NFL.com.
Visa makes it easier for NFL fans to get ready for game day. Life takes Visa.
Well, if you're watching, we hope you're proficient in high mathematics, because we start the third quarter and the 63 combined points rank as the second highest first half total in NFL history, Brian Baldinger. And the Lions will be kicking off to the Eagles.
The Eagles did not punt in the first half. I mean, that was part of their success and part of their 472 yards of offense in the first half.
Terrell Buckhalter back deep. They'll run it out from a yard. And they go to the 20-yard line. Now, remember, one of the questions before was who's going to step up. McNabb and Westbrook have been solid. Well, Westbrook certainly, and Kevin Curtis as well. I mean, well over 100 yards in their categories.
Well, you know, it's like they struggled, you know, to score 1 touchdown the first 2 weeks. They've more than made up for that here in the first half. And Kevin Curtis, you know, welcome to Philadelphia. Welcome to the new uniforms, the throwback jerseys from 1933. He looks like an unstoppable force.
He used to have 50-yard line seats back then, didn't he?
Yeah. First in the family.
First down at the 21 for Donovan McNabb. First pass is an out, and it's caught by Reggie Brown. So second down coming up. So now let's look ahead at what we've got here as far as the Lions and the Eagles, and there's got to be some semblance of Detroit defensively putting more pressure on McNabb.
We'll see what they can do. I mean, you know, McNabb has missed 1 pass in the first half, and so they haven't gotten to him. They haven't put any pressure. Now, Rod Marinelli's an old defensive line coach. I'm sure he gave a whipping to the guys up front here coming out of the locker room.
Second down and 6. Sean Andrews back in at right guard, number 73. And the pass is swung out to Westbrook. Dodges another player and is 1 yard shy of the first down. So that'll be third down and 1 coming up. Westbrook with a brilliant first half. 11 carries for 101 yards.
Look,
and now on the brink of going over 100 as a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's fantasy. It is, Westbrook has been able to do anything he wanted to do in that first half.
Tony Hunt, the rookie running back from Penn State, practiced this week, and he's in the lineup now. Third-round pick, number 29. And he gets the ball, and he is dumped by number 79. Good play made by Langston Moore.
That's the first time that they've stopped the Eagles today. Langston Moore came from the backside. He got inside Trey Thomas, and Tony Hunt's first carry in the NFL goes for negative yards. You saw the emotion of Detroit right there. Anything can be a spark at this point. 3 and out, make the Eagles punt for the first time. You try to build off of that.
Troy Walters goes back, and Savaraka played 15 years of Australian rules football with his first kick. And it's going to die inside the 30-yard line. So the Lions defense does its job on the first possession. See what Mike Martz has in mind when we come back.
Oh, honey, I told the neighbors we'd feed their pets while they're away.
Oh, okay, sweetie. Oh, no. Ooh.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to 64 destinations nationwide for just $49 to $109. Purchased by September 24th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Extreme power of Energizer Lithium, the world's longest lasting AA battery and high-tech devices. Energizer, keep going.
The Ford F-150 is equipped with vented disc brakes, standard on all 4 wheels. They're vented so they stay cooler, perform better, and maximize stopping power. So even though you'll probably never have to haul a 30,000-pound aircraft, at least you know you can stop one.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. By the Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by Walmart. This season, game time means Walmart. Save money, live better.
Oh, no.
Back here in Philadelphia, and unlike a Mike Martz offense, he lines up only one wide receiver. That's Mike Furry on the right. He has Sean McHugh, a tight end, Blaine Saipaia, who is a center, who is also on the right flank, and the handoff is to Tatum Bell. So this is a power offense that we're seeing right here, Brian.
Well, it's a real shift. It's a shift from what they've done in the first half. And Mike Martz is not afraid to run the football. In fact, the last time when he was with the Rams and played against the Eagles, he actually ran 8 straight runs against the Eagles and scored on an 80-yard drive. And so the passing attack was, I think, exhausting to Roy Williams, and maybe this is a shift here to get this offense started.
Roy Williams has been on the sideline, and we know Calvin Johnson had to go in. Once again, Tatum Bell, and he gets to midfield. And William James making the tackle, and a nice run by the former Denver Bronco as he gets 14 yards.
Don't know if there's anything wrong with Roy Williams, but he hasn't started the second half. He had an exhausting first half. I mean, after Calvin Johnson was injured, almost every single ball was thrown to him.
And I noticed in the latter stages was on the sidelines and was not in the lineup. That's when Troy Walters came in there. There you see the rushing story. Detroit stuck at 21. Kevin Jones. Now in the backfield, first down. Midfield, roll out by Kidman, and the pass sitting right there is Furry, makes the catch, and a first down to the 29 of the Eagles. And right now for a game break, let's return to Curt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, Terry's upset pick was the Green Bay Packers over San Diego. It looked good for a while, but right now, LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers, after that touchdown, have a 4-point lead. That one in the third quarter. Back to Dick and Baldy.
All right, thank you very much, Kurt. Packers giving the Chargers a good fight here. Here is Kevin Jones testing the middle of the line, and he picks up 2 yards on first down.
You know, it's interesting, at wide receiver out there right now with Roy Williams on the sideline is Sean McDonald and Mike Furry. And you go, oh, who are those guys? Well, Mike Furry caught 98 passes last year. And if you talk to the Eagles defensive backs like Sheldon Brown, those guys are more difficult to cover out here than the big guys, Calvin Johnson, Roy Williams, because it's hard to get your hands on these guys. They're quicker and they're smaller. There's less body surface to hit them.
2nd and 8. Hit from behind by Trent Cole. And another sack, 5th of the game by the Eagles defense. And they'll lose about 8 yards.
Well, this is Trent Cole here, going to beat Jeff Backus clean. He had that dip move again that we talked about in the first quarter, Dick, where he gets underneath the offensive tackle's hands and he's able to raise himself up. He's going to have at least double-digit sacks this year on that move alone.
Jonathan Scott has replaced Jeff Backus at left tackle. So there's Kitna. Double figures in hits and hurries. That's not good. 3rd down and 16. Penalty marker is down. And Kitna being chased by Javon Curse as he goes out of bounds. Flag is down on the other sideline.
Going to be a penalty against Javon Curse. Not sure why Kitna didn't throw the ball. He's got no repercussions. Even if he throws a bad throw, it was going to come back. I think he knew it too.
He got 6 out of it.
Defense, offside, number 93, 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
You got the right guy, Javon Curse.
Andy Reid's going to take Curse right out of the game.
And Jaquay Thomas has replaced him. So the veteran Javon Curse, who injured a knee last season early in the campaign, went on IR. And Jaquay Thomas replaces him. 3rd and 11. Roy Williams has checked back in the lineup. Number 11. There he is. Kitna. And he completes it to Furry and not going to get the first down. As Mike Furry is stopped after a gain of about 8 yards. And Jason Hanson will come in to presumably try a field goal.
It's the right thing to do here. You need to get points out of this drive here to keep some momentum going. The defense did a good job of getting the ball back, forcing the Eagles to punt.
This will be a 46-yard try. Hanson has missed 1 so far this year. That was the one that would have won it in regulation last week against the Vikings. He did win in overtime. And here's Jason Hanson, reliable for a long time, and he misses. Hooked it. So Rod Marinelli sees an interception at the end of the first half that goes against him, and a missed field goal. Score stays the same.
The Ford F-150 has massive lower front control arms and rear shock absorbers mounted outside the frame rails, giving it the highest available payload in its class. And giving you unbelievable handling and control. Now that's forward thinking.
All right, freight. Well, you already love the reliability of the big brown truck, but let's say you're shipping something really big, or pallets of lots of little things. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could send any size shipment with the reliability and tracking you're used to with UPS? Hey, look, now you can. It's not just freight, it's UPS freight. Throw some mud flaps on here.
Dear NFL, thank you for bringing Michael Strahan to my house and school. My class was really excited when he came. I felt like the luckiest kinds of kid in the school. His hand was like that big. I had lots of fun. My favorite part was everything. Thank you, Christopher Comrie.
Kids across the country will take an NFL player to school. You could be one of them.
I want to win.
Enter online at NFLrush.com.
Back to You is #1.
I still believe that the news should be dignified.
Would you see if you could get this orange in my pants without me knowing it?
All new Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Cloudless sky here in Philadelphia as the Eagles maintain the 42-21 lead. 8:36 to go in the third. And if you're just tuning in, the Eagles are wearing the uniforms they wore in the first season when they joined the NFL back in 1933. Pitch to Brian Westbrook. He's had a big day. And this time the Lions short-circuit him after maybe 1 yard.
I think the hardest thing that the Eagles have to do right now is just fight that lethargic feeling of you've got 42 points. We've got all these yards. We've had all this success. Westbrook is over 200 yards of total offense. Just kind of fighting the malaise that can set in after an explosive, the most explosive first half the Eagles have ever had under Andy Reid.
And you can't do it when you have Mike Martz on the other side.
No, you can't rest easy.
Here's McNabb. They pick up the rush beautifully. And the pass is caught by Curtis. What a day, career day for Kevin Curtis. 10th catch of the game. Over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and a terrific job of protecting Donovan McNabb today. That was good for 12.
What was good about that throw, outside of the completion to Curtis, another one was how well Donovan saw the whole field. From sideline to sideline, just going through his progressions, because Kevin Curtis wasn't his first receiver on that play.
There's Curtis. Former Ram with a great game. Westbrook, also a great game. Manages to edge his way into Lion territory and shaken up as Dwayne White makes the tackle. Looks like, is that William Thomas?
That's William Thomas.
Thomas last week suffered back spasms and now going to limp off.
Well, that's not back spasms there. That's just getting his knee rolled up. And so last year's #1 pick, Winston Justice, will come in for his place. What a warrior, though, William Thomas has been. One of only 2 players on this roster that Andy Reid did not draft.
2nd down and 8. Pass caught at the 40. It'll be a first down to Jason Avant, who had scored the only Eagle touchdown coming into this game. Picks up 9.
Take a look at William Thomas here. This is a nightmare. It looked like Ernie Sims kind of falling right into the back of his right knee. For a man that's 6'7", stretched out like that, it's just such a vulnerable thing.
You mentioned Ernie Sims. Paris Lennon also has been shaken up. That's why Teddy Lehman is in there. Well, the Lions have had their share of injuries. More than their share. 6 minutes remaining in the third. First down on the 40 of the Lions. And there's Westbrook. Breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and gets close to the first down. Want to remind you, the NFL on Fox coming up next. The Giants, who started the year 0-2 and have given up 80 points in 2 games against the Redskins, who are 2-0 and beat these Eagles Monday night at FedEx Field.
Important NFC East matchup. Redskins starting off 2-0. Looked good, looked very good defensively on Monday night. And that Jason Campbell looked good, getting the ball to a bunch of playmakers.
Donovan McNabb, by the way, has completed 16 in a row. And Thomas DePay bounces to the outside and will get the first down and out of bounds at the 20. So a great mix today. You know, the Eagles didn't run that much Monday, running a lot more today.
Just a dive to Thomas DePay. He's just looking for some kind of open real estate.
He got 11 yards, and I guess it goes without saying when you have a lead like this. I mean, that's what you do in the second half.
That's, you know, people will be counting, you know, how many passes, how many runs right here. But when you get that kind of a lead, that's kind of the time to start pounding it a little bit more. Well, who can argue with the passing game today?
First down at the 20, up the middle. Pass caught by Max Schobel, and Schobel gets 8 yards.
It was interesting. When the Eagles started off 0-2 in 2003, they went to Buffalo to play, and pressure was on Donovan. He didn't play well against Tampa in the opening and then against the Patriots, and they lost. And, you know, a lot of people said Donovan's got to sit down, and Andy Reid said, you know, like Larry Bird, bad game shooting, you just keep shooting to get hot. And Andy Reid can tell you exactly what play they ran on the first play against Buffalo, who caught it, and what happened on the play, like coaches can remember like nothing else.
He told us he remembered high school guys he played with and what numbers they wore. Here's a handoff to Westbrook, and Westbrook gets to the 8-yard line. Another first down for Philadelphia, and you saw the play selection, which is pretty much balanced, and a lot of it coming here in the second half. Westbrook scoring 3 touchdowns today.
Dick, I would think about really almost sitting Westbrook down at this point. I mean, he takes a hit right here. He's carried the load. He's done his job here today. These are the kind of shots that Westbrook doesn't take a lot of, but that low shot to his leg on his knee, those are the kind of shots that make his knee swell up.
108 yards rushing, 111 as a receiver. Here's McNabb, flips it into the end zone, and no one near, and a flag goes down at the goal line. Penalty flag is there. Kevin Curtis, see if he was held.
Well, if you scored 3 touchdown passes already today, it might be a good defense to hold him and not let him get number 4.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 25. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
It's Fernando Bryant right there. I mean, that's just, you know, it's after the 5 yards. Just grabbed him and not let him get started.
That's why I asked you a little while ago, you know, what can the Lions do about Curtis? And the one thing you never said is
I didn't say to tackle the receiver, but that didn't work either, because now the Eagles get a first down and a couple more shots, and that's dangerous there for Westbrook as he's getting looked at after his last carry.
Tony Hunt is the tailback, number 29. Play action, and there's McNabb backing up. He was trying to go to Hank Basket.
Wait a second, is that an incompletion? I don't know if McNabb was capable of that today.
It's a second of the game.
And so that was a throwaway. There was nobody there. I mean, he had to do that.
He had 18 completions in a row before that last pass play, and I'm just going to take a wild guess that McNabb's passing rating is going to soar this week. What do you think?
Yeah, for whatever that's worth. You know, for whatever quarterback rating means.
Yeah.
McNabb is only going to be measured by postseason wins. That's all. I mean, regular season, he's expected to get to this team to the playoffs. How he does in the postseason is how he's always going to be framed.
Second down and goal. Tony Hunt gets to the 1. That close to his first NFL touchdown.
Yeah. Andy Reid was talking to us about Tony Hunt on Friday, and the first thing he said to him about is how big his head is. You know, like they're surprised they can find a helmet that big. And he doesn't have great speed, but he's just one of those guys at Penn State and in the preseason here in Philadelphia was a guy that you could just pound. And he could move a pile, and he finds a hole pretty good. And there's a role for him on this team.
Buckhalter comes in for him. And it'll be third down and goal from the 1. And they give it to Terrell Buckhalter, who goes straight ahead for the touchdown. And the beat goes on for the light blue and yellow clad Philadelphia Eagles today.
Well, you can see that the inside. Herriman gets a good block. Jamal Jackson, Winston Justice there, and you can see how tight he hugs that double team. Running away from the defender and hanging on the offensive line.
And the first touchdown of the season for Terrell Buckhalter. So for a team, as Akers kicks the extra point to make it 49-21, that had only 1 touchdown coming in. They've got 8 now on the year.
The Ford F-150 is equipped with vented disc brakes, standard on all 4 wheels. They're vented so they stay cooler, perform better, and maximize stopping power. So even though you'll probably never have to haul a 30,000-pound aircraft, at least you know you can stop one.
Few relationships in life are more important than the one between you and your Michelin tires. Rugged, long-lasting Michelin truck tires. Michelin, a better way forward.
Guys are always looking for the next big thing, especially when it comes to the latest technology. Presenting Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant with advanced triple protection system. It locks out odor, keeps you dry, makes you smell great all day. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. Triple protection technology for men.
Everyone knows the cure.
I don't need a team.
For what's ailing Dr. House.
You were bouncing ideas off a janitor.
But this season,
Go away.
who can survive
House, shut up.
the treatment?
Bring it on.
House. Viewer discretion advised. Premieres Tuesday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Marty Morenweg, who calls the plays, and the former coach of the Detroit Lions, and dialing up the right ones today as the Eagles lead by a score of 49-21 over the Lions. And there is the scoring drive, and the lowest yardage in the scoring drive all day was 43 yards. You have a lot from 50, 60, a couple in the 70s, and one in the 80s. That's what it's been like for the Eagles this afternoon. They'll be kicking off. Troy Walters is back deep for the Lions. David Akers picking up some conversion points. There's Walters in the end zone.
We'll make throwback uniforms for the cheerleaders as well. Throwback pom-poms, throwback baseball hats.
A lot of tailoring going on for this week.
A lot of work with the sewing machine this week.
Troy Walters, 2 yards in the end zone. Not big, but he can fly, and he goes out of bounds at the 26. So Brian Dawkins watching all this today and loving every minute of it.
What's better than watching your team spank your brother-in-law's team? Watching it in high definition. Trust me. And the best place to get your new HD TV? Walmart. They've got all the best brands for prices you can't beat. Samsung, Sanyo, Sony, Vizio, you name it. Now you can tell your brother-in-law that he paid more for his HD TV than he had to. Life is sweet. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Don't touch my Bud Light.
Yeah, right. Orange.
Little
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Call off. Nice work, boys.
The Ford F-150 has massive lower front control arms and rear shock absorbers mounted outside the frame rails, giving it the highest available payload in its class. And giving you unbelievable handling and control. Now that's forward thinking.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Gotta have the latest football news, get up-to-the-minute commentary, interviews, and even matchup previews with Fox Sports. All on your VCast phone from Verizon Wireless.
Late in the third quarter here in Philadelphia on a splendid day. Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger. And the Eagles lead it by a score of 49-21. And they scored touchdowns in their first 3 possessions, kind of set the tone for this game. Lions have the ball. And a first down on the 21. Make it the 26 for Detroit.
Lions back to that 2 wide receiver set.
The field. The clocks are now partial.
Play clock.
Gene Steratore.
Play clock is bothered. There should be a 25 inside that play clock.
And I will say that neither team really needs it.
They've been playing without it pretty well.
Kitna under pressure. And he flips it off to Tatum Bell. Bell hit from behind by Jaquay Thomas. Let's send it down now to Jennifer Hammond.
And guys, Brian Westbrook indeed did suffer a rib injury near the goal line in the last offensive series of the Eagles. He has been taken into the locker room. They are x-raying that injury. In the meantime, left tackle William Thomas will probably be back. They did say that he had a knee sprain, but looks good for him to come back.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you very much. That is shaky news with Westbrook for sure, considering all he has meant to the team this year.
Yeah. Busy afternoon.
First down on the draw play to Tatum Bell. Bell running right into Sheldon Brown and gets 2 yards on the play.
Now, this game got out of control from the Detroit Lions today, but I think looking ahead to this team, it's going to be a competitive team all year. They're not going to fall apart. They've got too many good players. They've got too much of a good system. But I do think they need more balance on their offense. And so getting Kevin Jones out on the field today helps. They need to get their tight end back, and he may be out for the season. So they need to get some balance into the offense.
Kitna and Roy Williams drops it. Again, started a run before he had possession. That would have been a big opportunity, and Mike Martz is going to be gnashing his teeth over the chances that his team has had. And I go to late in the first half when they had a chance to get a field goal to make things close, and then the missed field goal by Hansen, and on that play, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, and then the interception in the end zone by Sean Considine at the end of the first half.
That's right. That's what he said.
Yeah, would have been a touchdown. So there's been some points on the board. That's Broderick Bunkley, defensive tackle of the Eagles, who has gotten off to a great start, kind of unnoticed because of the Eagles' losses.
3rd and 8. Catch is made by Roy Williams, but he can't get away from Sheldon Brown. What a game that Sheldon Brown is playing, Brian. You consider Lito Shepherd, who suffered the sprained knee week 1, and he is the most experienced cornerback that the Eagles have, and he has come up big today.
Well, Sheldon Brown said that we always think that our offense is going to score at least 17 points minimum. Now today they've far succeeded that, and he said, you know, defensively that's what we want to keep our opponents under.
Oselio Hansen comes off the field shaken up. 4th down. Pino Mahe back deep at the 12-yard line. And down he goes at the 23. We have a quarter to go.
FedEx saved us with their overnight service, so we've added FedEx Ground for everyday shipping.
Ground? That doesn't sound fast. Actually, Joel, FedEx Ground is faster than you think.
You can't judge things by their name. Don't you agree, Harry?
Absolutely.
Eileen? Of course. Joy? Bob?
You see, Joel, we all agree that FedEx Ground is fast, despite the name Ground.
Well said, Mr. Turkeyneck.
FedEx Ground. Fast, reliable, and for less than you think.
Honey, hey, listen, I'm out here with the guys, and they're really pushing me hard to come back and play another season in New York. What do you think?
Are you kidding?
Just say no. Just say the word no, and I'll stay retired. Just say no, and, you know, I won't do it. Okay, great then. Guys, I'm back. She's so happy, she's speechless.
The network you can trust. AT&T. Buy any phone and get up to 4 free.
It's Pizza Hut's Pizzone. With over 1 pound of hunger-crushing cheese and toppings, you may experience unhunger. Unhunger. Get 1 for just $5.99 or 2 for $10.99. Get more full. Get America's favorite pizza. Pizza Hut, now online.
Skulls? 2 skulls. Horns?
1 pair of horns.
Medieval mace club.
1 very large mace club.
Huh? That should do it.
Perfect. Hey, can someone give me a hand off of this?
Guys, gotta go.
Hey, guys.
Oh, come on.
Don't miss the all-new season of Bones. Premieres Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Back here in Philadelphia, 5 seconds remain in the third quarter. William Thomas is all right. He's back in the game at left tackle for the Eagles. First and 10 for Philadelphia. Correll Buckholter in motion to the right. And the pass caught by Kevin Curtis out of bounds. Gets to the 35-yard line. That is the end of the third quarter with the score. Eagles 49, Lions 21. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a word from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday.
NFL Sunday Ticket, brought to you by Bridgestone. It's Bridgestone or nothing.
Right now, get up to a $100 value American Express branded award card when you buy a set of eligible Bridgestone tires. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing.
Their day begins like yours. Quick breakfast, drive down to work. Another day on the job.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, ma'am. But after all the pleasantries, and talk about the weekend, from that point on, it's all business.
Two behind the leader. Perfect distance, and just to the left of the green. This is a very tricky shot. Good speed, right at it. Oh.
Don't just watch it, live it. Experience the ultimate in high definition with LG Full HD.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Philadelphia, and the Eagles up 49-21. Donovan McNabb, great numbers.
Well, it's a perfect quarterback rating is what that is right there, Dick, which is the highest you can get, 158.43.
And McNabb going up the middle, bobbled, and eligibly picked off. Correll Buckholter couldn't hold on. Now you're looking at the Fox box at the top, has all the information, but because of a malfunction of the clock, it's got to be blank right now. But all the other information is there for you, including scores of other games.
Including the Chargers there beating Green Bay in the fourth quarter, 21-17.
The Patriots rolling over the Bills, and the Colts doing the same to the surprising Houston Texans. Third down and 5. Pressure on McNabb, who has to get rid of it in a hurry.
Never fails, Dick. Never fails. You give the quarterback credit for having a perfect quarterback rating, and immediately that follows is 2 incompletions. It
Right.
just,
Sure.
yeah, you know, you're at the free throw line. He's perfect for the day, and bam.
And you hope he ends up 50% today. So it's 4th down and 5, and Sam Rocca will be kicking to Troy Walters. Rocca, a 33-year-old rookie. Short kick. And Walters hit immediately. Good coverage by the Eagles special teams. Nick Graham. Early here in quarter number 4. Believe us.
Done. You can check on the rep. Yep, second to none.
I'm gonna bring that here, or I'm gonna die trying.
Yo, come, let's roll.
An all-new Prison Break at 8, and the #1 new hit drama K-Ville at 9. Viewer discretion advised. Tomorrow on Fox.
You can check on the rep. Yep, second to none.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Hyundai. Now there are more reasons than ever to check out a new Hyundai Santa Fe or Sonata. By Lowe's. For all your home improvement needs, Lowe's. Let's build something together. By TGI Fridays Restaurants, where the 3-course menu is back. Give me more Fridays. And by Coors Light's cold activated bottle. When the mountains turn blue, your beer is cold and ready for kickoff.
Within the first minute of the 4th quarter, Dick Stockton, Brian Baldinger, and the Lions with the ball. First down, looking left, going right to Tatum Bell. And Bell, with a little run after the catch, winds up with 3 yards on the play. And it looks like we do have the time in order above. This sports town has got to be really one of the better sports town in America. Have to be excited because of #1, the Philadelphia Phillies, who are chasing the Mets in the National League East and the wild card as well, losing right now to the Washington Nationals. And their Eagles way ahead of the Lions, 49-21.
2 good offensive teams.
Second down, and the pass caught by Roy Williams, shy of the first down.
See, that's called tackling the catch by Sheldon Brown there. I mean, not one extra yard after the catch. Sheldon just shadowing him on that comeback. Those guys have probably gotten to know each other pretty good on the field today. Sheldon has been with Roy Williams most of the afternoon.
Williams with 7 catches for 173 yards. He's been shaken up, and you see holding on to his right hand. Stays in the game and lined up wide to the right.
Roy said enough for Sheldon Brown. Let me go to the other side. Work on William James.
3rd down and 2. Kidna can't go left. Goes up the middle. Williams has it. And a first down to the 34-yard line. Roy Williams having a big day today as a receiver. Not good for 24 yards.
Now, here is Roy. Now, you see, there's the press coverage. They jammed him, but that's not enough. Now, the reason why this ball was able to get completed down the seam for one of the rare times today is Kitten had time. Look left, and was able to back up with the protection to find Roy Williams. That hasn't happened very often.
Brian Calhoun, who was the leading rusher for the Lions last week, in the lineup. Right now, it's empty. And the flip to Roy Williams. The rest is up to Roy, and Roy gets to the 26-yard line. And for a game break, let's quickly get to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
All right, Baltimore and Arizona. Kurt Warner has replaced Matt Leinart and led the Cardinals to 2 touchdown drives, both ending in touchdown passes to Anquan Boldin. And it's a 23-20 game. Baltimore trying to hold on. Dick and Baldy, pardon me.
How many years Kurt Warner done this?
Because he was well trained by Mike Marks.
Right.
And Mike has had great success working with quarterbacks that have been kicked around for a long time.
Looks like Roy Williams been kicked around a little bit. He's on the sidelines right now. And here is Kitna stepping up. Open is Troy Walters down the middle. And it is not Walters, but Brian Calhoun. Let's check in again with Jennifer Hammond. Nicknamed Calhoun, I might add.
All right, thanks, Dick. And Jeff Backus and Damien Woody both missing from the offensive line because of rib injuries, and neither one is expected back.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Blaine Saipaia has replaced Woody.
Jonathan Scott right now over at left tackle.
First down, though, for the Lions on the 15-yard line. I'll tell you that They're not hanging back. They keep coming. Here's the pass and overthrowing Sean McDonald. Well, Mike Martz, of course, with that great offense, but let's take a look back, rewind to see some of the quarterbacks under Mike Martz.
Yeah, way back in Washington, there was Trent Green, who was an 8th-round pick. Then there was Kurt Warner, the former stock boy in Iowa, and Mark Bulger was a 6th-round pick that was cut. John Kitna went to NFL Europe, played in Barcelona, leased by Seattle, Cincinnati, and here he is engineering the #1 passing offense in football.
And you got to be smart playing for Mike Martz.
And there's a big list of components that goes into it.
2nd and 10, and here's Calhoun. Calhoun gets inside the 15-yard line.
This is what goes into making a Mike Martz quarterback. I mean, first of all, you got to be smart, because he's gonna build a robot. He's gonna overload the computer. You're gonna get hit in this offense, and so you got to be tough. And then I think the thing that's interesting is, okay, you got to give into the system, you got to buy into it. But that part about accuracy, Mike Martz, and I believe, Mike, that accuracy is an innate ability. Either you're accurate and can throw the ball through the tire, or you can't. And his guys are.
And he should say you should never have an interception.
Well,
should never happen. 3rd down and 9. Kitna, trouble, loses the ball. Fumble, and the Lions may have it back. It looked like one of the linemen, Saipea, had recovered, but we'll wait for the official call. He lost it. Blaine Saipea had it, and it looks like Quentin Michael had wrestled it away.
Well, either that or the referee is in a wrestling match, or the line judge there at the bottom. Just looking to see who uncovered and came up with the ball.
2nd turnover by Marinelli's crew.
Hey, Jimmy, need a little help? Sure. You know what else would be good?
Cobalt tools are so comfortable.
Let me use that screwdriver. No.
You just don't want to quit working.
Yeah. What do you think? Great tools.
Cobalt, the next generation of tough tools.
Well, anything else we can do? There's always my wife's car.
Available exclusively at Lowe's.
Ahora es el momento de sacarlo todo. Empieza, Juan.
Mi amor, es que hay algo que no te he dicho.
¿Qué? Pensé que nos lo contábamos todo.
Es que tengo...
¿Qué es?
Es que tengo una gran afición por el fútbol americano.
Ay, no.
Don't hide. Every day, more and more Hispanics are confessing their love for the NFL.
Family Guy, the Star Wars episode. Viewer discretion advised. Tonight at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
So the Eagles get the ball back on the fumble by John Kitna, and they'll start from the 7-yard line.
We have delay of game number 27, Philadelphia. It was a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 10, Philadelphia.
This is the new rule put in this year.
Yeah, it's not just offense, it's defensive players too. And it's called delay a game, where you spike the ball in the field of play. Everybody's looking around, and it doesn't look like these guys were real sure about exactly what to call there. The flags didn't come immediately out of the pocket.
1st down. Buckholter, who has scored a touchdown today, gets about 6.
Let's go back to the fumble by John Kitna here, and just look at the mechanics of what happens. I mean, this is just a hot potato now. It's scrambling on the ground. Quentin Michael recovers it, but at that point, nobody knows who has the ball. So the side judge, the referees, the officials, they all come in scrambling, get involved in the scramble, and all they're doing is trying to separate who's got the ball, and they're just yelling color, either white or yellow, who has it. And bring that up because the Eagles lost the opening game against Green Bay this year after a muff punt that got recovered in the end zone even though the Eagles came up with the ball, they didn't see it at the bottom of the pile.
2nd and 4, Buckhalter again. Meanwhile, Donovan McNabb remains in this game. We're in the 4th quarter and a huge lead for the Eagles, Brian.
He doesn't want to come out of the game, Dick. The last thing he wants to see is Kevin Cobb coming onto the field. I mean, he wants to keep him at bay as long as he can. I mean, not just this game. I mean, like this year, next year, and the year after. And that's the thing you always say, well, as the quarterback out there, Westbrook's out, they don't want to come off the field and let anybody see what the next guy might be able to do.
And of course, this year more than ever in this city. 3rd down and 2. Little pump fake. And dropping the pass is Curtis. What's the matter with him?
Get new receivers.
Yeah, I mean, okay. You're either going to say you dropped the pass or you're 11 for 222 and 3 touchdown catches. Boy, Andy Reid will have a word to him when he gets to the sideline, I'm sure.
A little perplexed. See it? See, but when you coach all the way through every play.
4th down and Sav Rocca only kicking for the 3rd time. So I don't even know if he earned a paycheck today, did Rocca. And Troy Walters backed up to the 35 and fakes the handoff, keeps the ball, makes a wide arc. Flag is down, and Troy Walters goes out of bounds at the 49 with the penalty down.
He ran a long ways, didn't he? He gained a few yards. That's an exciting day for Troy Walters going up against.
Doing the return. Illegal block in the back. Number 82 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. Timeout.
Casey Fitzsimmons. 8:49 to go in the game. Eagles 49 and the Lions 21.
Hey, Coach! Those guys just took off with all your cold, refreshing Coors Light. Who do they think they are?
They are who we thought they were.
They are who you thought they were? Well, who do you think they were?
They are who we thought they were.
Okay. Well, if you knew who they were, why didn't you stop them?
We let them off the hook.
Frost Brewed Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Coach, those guys that took your Coors Light, they went that way.
Those guys are toast.
Vengeance has never been so beautiful. Heavenly Sword. Rated T for teen. Only on PlayStation 3.
Fox Sunday is back, and the only place to catch rip-roaring new episodes of The Simpsons.
Oh, baby.
Cutting off their blockbuster movie.
I'm sort of rich.
The Simpsons return with their epic 19th season premiere episode that goes to new heights.
What's the ocean doing in the sky?
Then, King of the Hill kicks off the season with Scandal. Plus, it's the full-hour Family Guy premiere event.
Master Luke, he's gone! He's gone!
What? Oh, what the Phantom Menace is that guy's problem?
And if you think you know Star Wars, you don't know Sith.
Always gargle before a takeoff. Waka waka.
The wildest shows on Earth premiere tonight at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Welcome back to Philadelphia, and the Eagles, who lost on Monday night, turning the tables on these Detroit Lions. And the 49 points scored by the Eagles matches the most in the Andy Reid era. And the whistle blows, and a false start penalty.
Start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The Eagles scored 49 against the Dallas Cowboys in November of '04. Won the game 49-21. I guess when you're going to score 49, the other team has to get 21. So that matches the most.
There.
John Kitna today, 23 of 37, 405 yards, not far away from his career high of 411. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and been sacked. And that is a takedown by Jaquay Thomas. That is the 6th sack of the game against Kitna.
Now, the defensive line is going to get credit for most of those 6 sacks today, Dick, but you've got to give credit, unbelievable credit, really, to a guy like Quentin Michael, to Joselio Hansen. These guys that, you know, are backups, came in to start today, and without Brian Dawkins, without Lito Shepherd, have stepped up. Will James, these guys have stepped up and played huge for this defense.
That is a huge, that is a story today, because they were shorthanded. And against Mike Martz, as Kitna loses it again and loses the ball as well, and the Eagles recover. Jaquay Thomas gets the loose ball. And another turnover, a 7-yard loss, 7 sacks, and the 3rd turnover of the game committed by the Detroit Lions. So this is picnic time and a rough afternoon, long one for Rod Marinelli.
Wow, this is a chance for the defensive line just to really pad their statistics. But this Jaquay Thomas, who was really kind of a guy they picked up a couple of years ago from Tennessee, continues to show up, continues to make plays, continues to be a force on this defensive line. And that was just a great effort to reach and knock that ball out of Kitna's hands.
And it was Trent Cole who had 8 sacks 2 years ago, a 1.5 last year. This is his 3rd of the game, so he's coming back to his standards of a couple of years ago. Here is McNabb. Schobel was knocked down, incomplete pass, and pass interference against the Lions will make it 1st and goal at the 1.
Pass interference. Defense, number 53. By rule, foul, defensive pass interference that occurs in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line.
This is a confident throw by Donovan McNabb, because you can see how tight the coverage is. And most guys, especially after a day like today, don't want to mar it with any kind of interceptions. But he can feel it today. The rhythm is there, and he pulled the trigger. And that's a good sign for Eagle fans and for this offense.
Paris Lennon committing the penalty. It is a good sign. Of course, around here, as you know, Philadelphia, you're only as good as your last performance.
In every sport.
And the handoff to Thomas DePay, who gets maybe to the 1-yard line. The Eagles have 2 games coming up, with a bye week in between, against the Giants next week at the Meadowlands, and then the Jets on October the 14th. And they don't really have to get in a plane until October 28th, when they play the Minnesota Vikings on the road. That's pretty good.
You know, in fact, this year they travel the 2nd fewest amount of miles of any team in the league.
2nd and goal. And 3 tight ends. Give it to Tony Hunt, the rookie from Penn State, his first NFL touchdown. So Buckhalter and Hunt have scored today, and Westbrook has 3. One as a pass receiver, and the Philadelphia Eagles have scored the most points in the Andy Reid era. They have 55 to Detroit's 21, with number 56 hanging in the balance.
Those will be 2 happy guys tonight. Marty Morningway, the former Lion head coach, first coach that Matt Millen had hired in 2001, and Andy Reid together should feel pretty good about this effort.
Head coach of the Lions, 2001 and 2. His record was 5-27. They love him in Philly, however. We'll be back.
Watch out, Fridays. This is one of those tucking in the napkin, ordering a drink before my jeans even hit the booth kind of nights. So let's jar my taste buds out of hibernation with something I've never tried before. Something with one or preferably more of the following adjectives: fire-grilled, crusted, marinated, glazed. 3 courses totally up to me for just $12.99. Friday's 3-course menu is back, and so am I. Give me more Fridays.
I'm scared.
day.
Critics across the country agree In the Valley of Ella is a must-see movie. Roger Ebert gives it 4 stars. A masterful film from the director of Academy Award-winning Crash.
My son deserves better.
In the Valley of Ella. Rated R. Now playing.
This is my playbook. 300 jet X Lego Z scene. The best play here is probably at a regular. We can just go change right, A right, 2-jet dancer, fake 40X shallow cross.
You sound funny. You sound funny.
If I'm reading them bedtime stories and they're not falling asleep, I go right to the playbook. It puts everybody to sleep. Y scramble to red left, swap tight, close, Z right, sprint right, G, U corner, halfback flat.
Take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. 4, 5, 6, come on and get your kicks. Now you don't need the money when you look like that, do you, honey?
Philadelphia Eagles exploding today. Scored on the opening drive. Brian Westbrook went 25 yards to make it 7-0. Then the Lions tied it up on a Kevin Jones score, and then Westbrook again. McNabb hit Curtis, and that's all she wrote as the Eagles never looked back. Well, Fox tonight, fire up your lightsabers for the epic season premiere of Family Guy. Wookiees and Womp Rats will never be the same. Tonight at 9, 8 Central, the farce will be with you only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. And Donovan McNabb talking with Andy Reid, and we're going to see Kevin Kolb apparently make his NFL debut. There is Cobb getting set to go, and Kevin Kolb, who was the 2nd-round draft pick, first player drafted by the Eagles out of the University of Houston. Straight ahead is Brian Calhoun, and a flag is down as Calhoun gets the first down to the 32.
I guarantee you that conversation that Andy Reid had with Donovan wasn't easy for Donovan to swallow and to listen to.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 96 of the defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Omar Gaither, and the Lions will get. And I understand where you're coming from, but when you're up 56-21, and you're not 100% anyway, and going without the knee brace for the first time.
He's still throwing. He's still throwing it.
Yeah, but to be reasonable, I mean, so he comes in. I mean, you had a great game.
Yeah, but these are the kind of games, you pad some stats, you keep it going.
Incomplete.
That's what they look at the end of the season. You don't want to come off the field.
I don't know about John Kitna. He may have other ideas.
Yeah, Kitna's had when you're in a passing offense, you're going to get hit. But John is a tough guy. This Detroit team, it's just the beginning. I mean, they had this setback today, but they'll be competitive in the NFC North this year. And they've got too many good players. They need to get their tight end situation straightened out. They need to develop a running game here to give that offense some balance.
Well, getting Kevin Jones back could help that going a long way. Flag is down, and it could be a free play here for Kitna. And throws this one out of bounds. And it's going to be against the Eagles, offside.
Offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Darren Howard. Andy Reid hasn't been a great time for Andy Reid either. He's had his own family problems that has been well chronicled, and took a 5-month leave of absence this spring and summer, and continues to go to work. And I think the Eagles are very grateful that no matter what happens in the other side of his life, he really pays attention and stays in control of the football part.
And he's got the ear of the players. They still listen to him. He still has control of his team, and that's what's important.
Pass to Mike Furry, and a first down to the 39-yard line as the Lions trying to keep it going offensively. Coming up next, the Giants against the Redskins. The Giants have won 4 of the last 6 against Washington and really need this game. And it's the first time since the '96 season the Giants begin 0-2. And you look at the division, we know Washington has the good defense. Dallas looks like they have a prolific offense, and the Eagles offer today.
And we'll find out a lot about that Cowboy team tonight when they travel to Chicago against a very good defense.
Slant caught by Sean McDonald, but hit immediately Managed to get about 4.5 yards. Stuart Bradley, rookie from Nebraska. Well, we told you Jon Kitna, who had over 400 yards, now sets a career high. 411 was his best up until today. 414 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and been sacked 6 times.
But that also is why statistics can be deceiving. You know, over 400 yards passing, yet they're going to lose by, you know, 4 touchdowns here, 5 touchdowns. So, yeah, sometimes these things don't really measure out.
I totally agree. And there's the pass to Sean McDonald. McDonald wending his way and goes out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. That's why every week you look at the top passing yards by quarterback, and virtually all of them have lost the game.
Well, after today's game, I mean, Detroit will still be the #1 passing offense in football, unless somebody throws for like 800 yards here this evening or something. So, yeah, they'll still be at the top of the charts. But with that,
you mean Rex Grossman?
Well, that would make people in Chicago happy. But with that passing offense comes a lot of bad plays. So we saw an interception in the end zone. We saw some fumbles from John today. You know, they have to learn how to finish drives and keep the quarterback healthy.
From the 18-yard line, and flag is down, and the pass deflected. Tatum Bell was the target on that play.
In fact, 3 of the interceptions that the Lion quarterbacks have thrown this year have come in the end zone, where you have a chance to score.
Offense, number 67, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Lane Saipaia holding, so they'll move it back and play it again. The Lions, and you mentioned, you know, they're in look. They won 3 games last year, and they already have 2 in their back pocket. They've got the Bears at home next week, and then go to Washington. And Rod Marinelli, besides looking a little slimmed down from what we saw him when he had his debut last year, he's in control of this team.
Yes. Now, they've got the direction. They have a guy that basically motivates every day.
Here is Kitna getting ground, and he flips it out to Tatum Bell, and Bell is taken down. And I'll tell you what, the great thing about this game is Quinton Michael makes the play, and he's made several of them today. Both teams still playing hard.
Well, we said that there was a chess match that was going to start this game today. Mike Martz of the Lions, Jim Johnson of the Eagles, and I would say that Jim Johnson has gotten Mike Martz into just a check and a checkmate at this point. You know, because the way that thing filtered out, I think they were able to get pressure on Kitna immediately in this game. And as many yards they've thrown for, they've created a lot of bad plays that have gone against them.
Sent that message on the very first series the Lions had. Pass caught by McDonald. And there's a play made in the secondary by Sean Considine, who had a key interception. Talk about those picks in the end zone that the Lions have had to endure late in the first half.
Sean Considine, he's like the veteran back there right now as far as starts. I mean, Quinton Michael, I mean, this is his first NFL start, and you can't say that he's had a bad play out there today. William James, picked on last Monday night against the Redskins, has come up pretty good here today.
Kitna sacked by Trent Cole. That's 4 sacks for Trent Cole today. Huge day for him.
Dick, we've been talking about Trent Cole's move. I think we'll have an opportunity to see it here against another offensive tackle, Scott. And he just has this ability to dip his shoulder and to get underneath the tackle, to get low, and here he comes. He's going to be coming from the left side of your screen. You see how low he was right there? He's basically crawling along a curb, going for the quarterback's leg, but not everybody can do that. They don't have that kind of a balance to do it, and he does.
That's the 8th sack by the Eagles. So again, check mark for Jim Johnson. Even though this game has long been put away. 4th down and 23. 4th down, and the pass thrown underneath to Tatum Bell. And he's tackled at the 20, where the Eagles will take over on downs. I'm going to ask you a very tough question here, and that is, will we ever see the Eagles wear these uniforms again this season?
Well, they would be smart to take them up to the Giants game next week. That would be the smart thing to do. I think people are going to like these uniforms.
What about later in the year when they play Dallas? What about
Well, they would love to save 56 points for the Cowboys. I mean, that's
superstitious?
Eagles rivalry. But I mean, Kevin Cobb here coming in, he makes his NFL debut.
Are players superstitious enough to do that? You played.
No, because once you become superstitious like that, and then if you lose, then what do? You burn the uniforms. It becomes, a real catch.
Don't wear them again. First down at the 21, Kevin Cobb. Andy Reid liked him all the way out of Houston. And he is sacked back inside the 15 by Langston Moore. Loved his, just the way he handles himself, and in particular, his accuracy. That's what Andy Reid liked about quarterback Kevin Cobb. Final numbers on the McNabb was 21 for 26, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
It's just a brilliant day. And we've seen that so many times from Donovan McNabb during his 9-year history, where when he's been down, he's been able to come back time after time again.
Tony Hunt with the carry, no gain on the play.
You know, and we talked to Rod Marinelli about Donovan McNabb yesterday at length, and he said, you know, he's still the leader of the team. He's a strong, tough guy, tough-minded guy, and he's in his 9th year with the same head coach, the same offensive tackles, the same playbook. And so there's a comfort level that they have there.
Well, let's take a look at what went on at halftime, and it was the celebration of the players that made the 75th anniversary All-Eagle team. And
a lot of familiar faces. Clyde Simmons, 96 there. Eric Allen, 21.
Harold Carmichael.
Keith Byers. Great receiver.
Wilbert Montgomery would be one, and of course he is the Detroit Lions running backs coach.
Saw Concrete Chuck down there. And McNabb is the quarterback on that 75th anniversary team of the Eagles.
Andy Reid's the coach.
Andy Reid is the coach.
Jeff Lurie,
the owner.
The best owner in this.
Best owner.
I don't know if they voted that, but Jeff has been a great owner here. As tell you what, the fans have had to really enjoy what the Philadelphia Eagles have been. Cobb has it stripped away by Paris Leonard, and Idris Bashir makes the recovery, and the Lions will get it inside the Eagle 10.
Eagle fans have given Kevin Cobb a little bit of a taste, the ones that are left, of throw the football. Get it out of your hands. They don't want to see anybody giving up fumbles like that by holding the ball.
You can use this, you know, you could say, well, this is old hat or cliche. The Eagles have played hard throughout the game, and they've been down by a lot of points. They have never
the Lions
stopped
have played
hustling.
hard, yes. Now, haven't stopped fighting. John Kitna is going to try and get this ball in the end zone with everything he's got.
How about Green Bay beating San Diego 31-24?
Wow. I mean, the Packers possibly off to a 3-0 start. And the Chargers could be losing more games the first 3 weeks than they lost all of last season.
Here's John Kitna getting chased from every direction, and no other choice but to throw it away. And right now for game break, let's return to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Arizona and Baltimore went down to the final play. Matt Stover from 46 yards away, and the Ravens get the 26-23 victory. That's after Kurt Warner had come on to relieve an ineffective Matt Leinart and led Arizona back from 17 down, but the Ravens get the win. Dick and Baldy.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. So, good thing they have Kurt Warner.
Yeah. Half the games last week were decided by 7 points or less in this league.
Second and goal. Kitna can't find a receiver and throws this away.
That's a souvenir ball. Everybody's catching the ball in Philadelphia. Everybody's a part of the offense today in Philadelphia.
The idea, Jim Johnson said, is that we have to really be physical as we take a look at the catch.
That's a tip ball drill.
Who gets the souvenir?
No, that's a tip ball drill right there. Akers got it, yeah. No, that ball's his. And watch, he'll run right out of the stadium with that thing. Now they got to go celebrate with the other fans.
Accepting congratulations.
Sure. Now they're coming from all over to celebrate that catch.
Probably appear on a late night show this morning.
Could be on highlight reel.
Kitna. And he is hit by McCoy. And we'll have our 2-minute warning with 1:58 on the clock. What a day for the throwback Eagles.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
I'm a student
I grew up in Philadelphia.
What are you doing, sweetie?
I am texting, Mom. But I go to school in Delaware.
Mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell, so you can see that the...
My brother goes to school in Prague.
Jak sa máš, Pracho?
I got a bunch of friends who study in Chicago. So I need a network that works where I live. A place called Philaware Prague-Chicago.
He's back.
Yep.
The new AT&T works in more places like Philaware Prague-Chicago.
Lou DiMaggio for Bristol-Myers Squibb.
I got something I want to say to my heart. You almost quit on me once. Thanks for hanging in there. I want you to keep it up. I got 3 kids, 19, 15, and 3. So you keep doing your part, and I'll do mine. All right, big guy?
Your will, our medicines. Together we can fight the serious diseases. Bristol-Myers Squibb. Together we can prevail.
With the all-new NFL.com's in-depth player coverage and exclusive video highlights, you'll know your favorite players better than ever.
Did you see that?
At the all-new NFL.com.
Well, it's been a throwback day as far as the old uniforms are concerned. Here is Kitna on 4th down. And the Eagles were not going to give in. And they will take over on downs. Mike Patterson coming in on the 9th sack of the game for the Philadelphia defense. And they'll take over on downs with 1:52 to go. So let's take a look back. A lot of numbers there. And you see the Eagles with 537 yards. Kitna in a losing effort, a career high. Roy Williams, a big game despite being banged up. But look at the numbers for Donovan McNabb and Kevin Curtis. And we couldn't even fit Westbrook with 108 yards.
No room, huh?
Rushing and 111 receiving yards today. Wow.
Like a pinball machine gone wild.
And Dawkins, who said this is fun. Brian Dawkins, who couldn't play today. You never would have known it. Most points in a game for the Eagles since 1953. When they also scored 56 against the Chicago Cardinals. And their record, by the way, 63 points back in 1934.
So it surely was a throwback day.
Yes, it was, in many ways.
Yes.
Many ways.
Delay of game on the defense, number 79. Actions not involved with football action. 5 yards, 1st down.
Unbecoming to the game. I'll tell you, I think Gene Steratore really enjoyed announcing that penalty.
He wasn't sure exactly what he was supposed to say about it.
Well, the Lions, as we said, will come home to play the Chicago Bears at 2-1. And the Bears, as Brian mentioned, play the Cowboys tonight. Green Bay, the pace setter, at 3-0 in the NFC North. And the Philadelphia Eagles will go to 1-2 as they go against the New York Giants, who come up next against the Redskins, an important game coming up on Fox.
Well, Andy just took off his headset there. He's allowed himself to smile, enjoy this one as he should. He told me this week that he was very little sleep. I mean, coming back in from 12 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning, going back home, getting some rest. You know, the pressure, he felt the pressure to put this offense back together, and they did today.
Great all-around game, actually. Today's game produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director, Charles McDonald. The broadcast associate, Mark Schaefer. The technical producer, Bob Mueller. The technical director, Rick Tugman. The tape supervisor, Michael Nathanson. And the audio supervisor, Pat Lucatordo. Thanks to the crew. Great job as usual. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Chris Visser's our spotter. Rick Odioso on the stats. Mike Eldridge and Fitz Ollison doing the job on numbers in the truck. And a big day as The Eagle defense and offense both dominate. 9 sacks in the game for the Jim Johnson's defense. And for Rod Marinelli, his team played hard. And that's it from Philadelphia. This is Dick Stockton for Brian Baldinger saying so long. Stay tuned for the second half of this Fox doubleheader. The Giants take on the Redskins right after these messages. So long, everyone.